Alright guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. So, I have not told many people about what's going on today. I told a couple of my buddies from back home, like literally just the day before, but today is Dyno day. So, we're going to throw the old blue truck on the rollers just to get mainly baseline numbers so we know where we're starting at and what changes do what. Specifically for this test, going to do a comparison between the automatic A518 in the truck and then whenever we do a 47 RE swap and probably a transfer case swap as well, to see what lockup gains and what less rotating mass with the different transfer case would gain. So I'm pretty excited. It is just a stock first gen, so don't expect much here. I say stock. The truck has done absolutely bone stock. Previous owner made 126 horsepower on the dyno. Alright guys, so we're going to start off this dyno video. Here is going to be the first pull. The first couple pulls we did fuel only, as you would assume. Nitrous does come into play, yes, but first couple pulls we're going to do fuel only and just see what it makes, and I'm not going to do any tuning of any sort. The pump, I've already spent a lot of time dialing it in on the street, so I know if it's dialed in on the street, it is for sure dialed for the dyno. I'm not worried about that. So let's go over the quick mods of the truck. In my opinion, this is a stock VE truck. This is a stock fuel truck. So first off, it is a 92 with, obviously it's got the small bowl pistons in it and everything. It's stock as far as that goes. It has an HX35 on it, so it's a 54-60-12 off of an automatic VP truck. It has a 3200 RPM governor spring, a THD fuel pin, and the pump is tuned by yours truly, obviously. The timing is bumped a 1/4 inch. It is kind of clackety. I did notice that after I did that last night. It's got a bone stock A518 in it, so it's only going to make as much power as the 518 will let it. Stock lift pump, stock injectors, stock head bolts, everything else. Like it is basically what I would consider a stock VE truck. The HX35 is obviously off of 2nd gen. Yada yada, pump's turned up as much as it can be. It's a maxed VE essentially. So first rip right off the bat, here we go. Alright, so there's the fuel only pulls. I went ahead and just rolled them all, and I've got my graph pulled up here of what we've got. So very first rip, it did 228 horsepower and 478 foot-pounds. Started that run kind of late, around 2200 RPM. Obviously, it definitely looks like he started this next one earlier. It was 227 horsepower, so within 1 horsepower exactly, and 563 foot-pounds of torque, so gained almost around 80 foot-pounds of torque there, just by starting at 1750 RPM versus 2250. So it was obviously making power fairly early in the RPM range. And then the next pull is going to be everything the same with a single 110 jet of nitrous. Essentially, there's a guy in the passenger seat holding I think it was like a 15-pound bottle, or maybe a 20-pound bottle, and it was a -3 line. Well, it might be been a -6, but it ends up necking down, so it's a -3 line into the intercooler pipe on the turbo side, so pre-intercooler. And what else? Yeah, just a normal shark fin with the 110 jet in it. and let's see what it picks up. It picked up 47 horsepower with a little bit of nitrous. So it made 280 horsepower and 602 foot-pounds. So we cleared the 600 foot-pound mark, which that's pretty sweet. And then we do make one more pull with a bigger jet. So same setup, ball valve with the bottle -3 line. This time we put in a single 136 jet, which is the biggest jet you can, I'd assume one of the biggest jets you can put in. I think it is the biggest that we had there. And let's go ahead and see what it does here. Alright, and I was happy with this pull for sure. He also cracked the bottle a little bit earlier. This time you can definitely tell it's making more power already at 1800 RPM versus the other one he didn't crack the bottle till about 2050, so 300 RPM later than whenever he did this time. It made 304 horsepower and 705 foot-pounds of torque. So overall with nitrous we picked up 76 horsepower and like 150 something foot-pounds of torque. So definitely picked up a good bit of power with nitrous. I was very happy. Pretty stoked to make over 300 on stock fuel with the nitrous. The lift pump is running bone dry. The stock diaphragm lift pump does not support much power, and right there it was not happy. Dropping to 0 psi, and the VE is also very leaky. So the injection pump's worn out and it needs a lift pump. So I am pretty stoked with the numbers. I'll go ahead and throw up what I'm looking at to you guys so you guys can look at the dyno graph, but let's just go over a couple things. I did have on dyno tires for this to just make my numbers a little bit more reasonable, so I didn't have a bunch of rotating mass. Not that the MP205 is already a metric shit ton of rotating mass in itself. So the A518 did fine. It held up. It didn't slip during the pulls. Dynoed it in third gear. Alright, so this basically is going to end up being a comparison video. We will do an after of this whenever I 47RE swap it, and I'm also going to throw in a NP241D transfer case as well, and it'll drop a ton of rotating mass. So hopefully, without changing anything besides that, hopefully we can go from that 228 number to maybe 250 with fuel only. Again, I'm definitely out of fuel as far as lift pump goes. I do think there's a little bit left in those stock injectors. And the injection pump, like I said, is very tired. You can tell that just by after a trip or after driving, the idle drops. That is almost a surefire way to tell. It is also leaking. It leaks more fuel out of it than what stays in it. I'll just leave that there. I do need to get an AFC spring so I can adjust my AFC better, because I'm not sure you can tell on the graph, but once the fuel pin is actually traveling back up into the reverse side of the curve. So once it gets to the deepest part and starts coming back, it's actually traveling into there, which an AFC spring would help a bunch. I do need to get a hold of CJ and get a lift pump on this thing, because we need to supply our injection pump with fuel. So that's going to be one of the next steps, is getting a lift pump, good filtration and good pressure. And then maybe injectors down the road, I don't know. The turbo it doesn't have much left as far as air, since it's a small compressor wheel. You can see there is some efficiency left as we added some compressor wheel there with nitrous. So if I could get closer to that 300 horse mark, I would be happy on fuel only. That'd be pretty cool. But if not, no worries. This truck, I already have a blast driving it. It's a fun truck to drive. It'll be much funner without an A518. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it's just pure data is really what it is. Just so if in a perfect world, what you guys could make with your truck that is an exact setup to this one, a manual truck. Maybe if my transmission was slipping, maybe a manual truck would make a little bit more. A Get Rag has a ton of rotating mass though, so you do lose some there with that. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. We had fun. Everybody had a good time. I made not very much power, but I was still excited every pull, and I'm sure people loved that. The other trucks that dynoed, I did also. I made 4 more horsepower on fuel than Brett did with his bone stock VP truck. Like, there isn't a comp box, there's no sort of tuner on it. It is a raw bone stock truck. It has an HY35 on it, so we couldn't clamp the wastegate or anything. It picked up like 4 horsepower with nitrous. It just doesn't have any fuel quantity. Like, mine had a little bit of excess fuel quantity, and the nitrous used it up. There was about 76 horsepower worth. So yeah, very happy with my day. We had lots of fun. I'm gonna go ahead and roll all the other clips of all the other trucks. We had fun and got some really good numbers on those trucks too. I was impressed with a couple of them. So it was just a blast for a Saturday. It was our fun day and just goofing around. So Alright, and there you saw the rounds of other trucks. It was just me and Brett with the VP truck that were the only Cummins stuff. We had our buddies down the road at Proven Performance. They brought some trucks over and we dynoed them. So there was definitely a good bit of Duramax stuff and shenanigans. Had lots of fun. Luke's truck was very impressive. I thought it made really good numbers. Nick's truck actually made more than I thought it would as well. RJ's truck, Clappy, is always just a blast. That thing is awesome. If you want to see more of that truck, you can go to the Firepunk YouTube channel, and there's a video of that truck making like 1400 horsepower or something on spray, stock bottom end LV or LLY. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, everybody's truck did well. Brett got a good baseline number of, I think he did 224. So we know where he started, and I'm sure he's going to end up doing something with it. But yeah, we know where we need to go. We know what we need more of, I guess. And yeah, I'm just excited to drive the truck. Drove it home. This is my first drive with the timing bumped, and it definitely has a little bit more power up top, and the A518 does not like that. I'm also very happy my stock head bolts held on very tight, especially with the nitrous introduced, so no head gasket problems yet. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the dyno day and just the fun we were having. It was a good time. So I might roll some bloopers in here. We'll see. If not, peace out. See you guys next time. Keep kicking it old school. This is like, well, usually that's how I take pictures.
Gavin, you need to...
Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you guys as excited as I am? 205 horsepower, bud. He doesn't make 205 with something.
What's your thoughts? I don't know if the dyno can read high enough. Hopefully, the amount of fuck around and to find out, right there.
Cue the Sarah McLachlan song, Arms of an Angel, for the fact that my old VE truck that I had compounds on and large amounts of fuel that did less horsepower than my truck did today with nitrous. So that's pretty sad. We'll roll that footage right here of the A518 slipping in that truck, and it was pissed.